Hello, hello. Hello, Penny. Hello, is it Shaira? Shira? How do we pronounce that? It looks like maybe Shaira. It looks pretty. I just wish I knew how to say it right. Oh, okay. And hello, Marco. Good afternoon or evening to you. It's morning here, 10:37 a.m. I'm not bad, Marco. I'm kind of feeling it's a slow start today. I had taught private lessons this morning, and my brain just feels slow today. My brain feels slow. Hello, Miguel, and hello, Ferdis. Miguel, we should talk soon. It's been a while. We should have a phone call, have a video call sometime soon. It's afternoon in Rome. Is it a nice day today? Hello, Maria. A little humid but sunny. Okay. Kind of feels like that here today a little bit too. Thank you, Maria. And good morning to you as well. Welcome, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. I'm Teacher Mark, if you didn't know that. You can't see my face. Can you guys see me? Can anybody else see me? Yeah, okay. Eva sees me and Marco sees me. My hat is over there. Yeah, so Jessica, maybe you should try to leave and come back. Try to leave and come back, Jessica, because everybody else can see me. Hello, Belen, my dear. I hope you guys don't mind. I'm kind of hungry. I made myself a little food, and I'm going to eat a little bit while we talk. I'll try not to eat too loudly. Andre, hello, Andre. How are you, my friend? I have some sesame peanut noodles that I made. Some cold sesame peanut noodles I made. So I'm going to eat a little bit. Have a Chinese breakfast. Nice and spicy. I do love cold sesame noodles. You can't use chopsticks? It takes a little practice, but you just have to really get used to being able to have an independent top one, right? So once you make the top one independent, you can, you know, grab things more easily. I'm a drummer. My fingers are good. Marco, well, yeah, well, it'd be nice maybe when you get off the subway. If you find a good place to go, then you can come on stage and chat. Yes, sesame peanut noodles, cold noodles, that's right. Yeah. And actually, here, I'll show you something. Wait a minute. Let me see if I can show you something. I will show you the pictures of when I made it the other day, when I made my sesame noodles. Thank you, Kuas. What's the green one? Cucumber. Thank you, Andre. And how have you been, my friend? Well, that's funny. Adriana likes to use chopsticks. That's funny. Chopsticks are very convenient. Well, for some foods, chopsticks are very convenient. Not all foods. Ooh, spicy. It's been sitting in the refrigerator for a day or two. It gets spicier. Yummy. Eva, I live in Cincinnati, Ohio. If you mean what city I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio. So let's see. Here is my sesame noodles that I made. Here's my peanuts. These are spicy peanuts I used. And that's some ginger I'm going to throw in there. Or no, that was garlic, actually. I added a lot more garlic. That was a little leftover garlic. And that's cilantro and green onions and cucumbers. There's my peanut sauce. Some carrots and cucumbers. And I like to toast my peanuts to get them nice and nutty. My rice noodles mixed in. Peanut sauce. Mix it all up. And there's the finished product with cilantro and green onions and peanuts and sesame seeds and cucumber on top. So there you go. There's my noodles. You hate garlic. Oh, Edgar. I don't know if we can be friends. I love garlic, Edgar. I would eat garlic ice cream. What spicy sauce do I like? I like to try different spicy sauces, and I like to make my own. So, Bellin, maybe we can find something together, a spicy sauce from Spain that I can try, and then maybe I can make one for you. Oh, you're allergic to garlic. Well, that's why you hate garlic, because garlic hates you. Edgar, it's natural to hate something that hates you back. Lao gan ma, I have some. 现在我有，在我的冰箱有老干妈。我爱吃这个，好吃，好吃，好吃。I love their the chili crisp. Chili crisp. Yeah. I use that a lot. The topic is anything you want. English, culture, life, world. Just nothing stupid. So yummy. Thank you. Chili garlic is one of my favorite sauces for sure. I make my own chili garlic sauce, Arthur. I have Thai chilies in my garden right now. I'm going to be making, maybe tomorrow, I think, if I can, I'm going to make my own hot chili oil. And I'm also going to make my own chili garlic sauce. I have a lot of Thai chilies, red Hong La Jiao, in my garden. And so I'm going to use those to make some hot sauces and stuff like that. If you use your fork in your left hand and chopsticks in your right hand, is that okay? Sure. Yeah, I don't see why not. I think that would be fine. I'd be okay with that. Although you've had your dinner, you're hungry now? Well, I do love to cook. I'm looking forward to it, Bellin. Do I use this software every day? Yes, I use it every day, but I only do live streams maybe 4 or 5 times a week. Hello to all the new people. Have I ever eaten Brazilian food? I have, yeah. Brazilian barbecue. It's one of my favorite kinds of barbecue. Giovanna, I've been to Fogo de Chao. Fogo de Chao, Brazilian barbecue restaurant. And man, that's so yummy. Really good. Hello this time. Hello, Daniel. I'm fine. How are you? Welcome, Edson. I'm eating sesame noodles, peanut sesame noodles, right? Sesame peanut noodles. I made some yesterday. It's always better the next day. The sauce, you know, if you make the sauce and you let it sit for one day in the fridge, the sauce gets better. And yes, I can use chopsticks. Well, better than most people. When I first lived in Taiwan, I did not. I could use chopsticks when I lived in Taiwan. When I first moved to Taiwan in 2009, when I first got there, I could use them, but not well. So I used to practice in the afternoon when I was off work. I had 2 bowls on my coffee table in front of me and my couch, and in my living room, and I would practice moving peanuts. So I had a bowl of peanuts, and I would use the chopsticks. And I would pick up the peanuts and move them from one bowl to another. And then after I did peanuts, I did M&Ms. And then after I did M&Ms, I did... What was the other thing that I did? Oh, now I can't even remember. I did, I did rice. Eventually I moved to small grains of rice. If you can move dry grains of rice with your chopsticks, then you're doing really well. Yeah, not wet rice, not cooked rice. I mean uncooked rice. You're trying to lift up each grain of rice and move it, then you can do, you're doing well with chopsticks. Yes, I'm in the United States now, yes. Turkish food. I do like Turkish food. There's a restaurant right near me here that's a Turkish Kurdish restaurant, and they have great food. I love, it's so sweet, but I love baklava. It's one of my favorite desserts. I don't eat it often, but yeah. Joseph, no, I made this. I made these noodles. Have I ever eaten Afghani food? I don't think I have. I don't think I have. Alone. I don't think I've had a chance to. I would love to try it. Rice and beans. Oh, do you mean, are you talking about, is it feijoada? Is that what you're talking about, Giovanna? I've had that once, and it was good. I would like to try it again so I can try it, more, right? Joseph, I'm drinking iced coffee. A very big, tall iced coffee. Hello, Fluke. Hello, Sarah. Yes, I live in America. What's the best advice that I've ever heard or received in my life? Shut up. That's the best advice I've ever gotten. Hello, Tuck. Hello, Kone. What's the point in that masochism if you never eat the dry rice? It's just practice, It's just practice. I like to practice things in methodical ways. It's because of drumming. In drumming, when you practice drumming, there's a lot of methodical nature. There's a methodical nature to the way we learn drums. It's very, very sequential and orderly. And so I like to learn things in that way. Oh, Andre, I'm glad to have you too. I'm glad you got your notification in time. Let's see. Oh, that was what it was. That's what it was. It was dried peas. That was the other thing that I used in my bowls was dried peas. So I did peanuts and M&Ms and dried peas and grains of rice. Yeah, I know. I am kind of insane. Yeah, I know. It was stupid. But it was just to prove that I could. If I could move grains of rice, then I can do whatever. I can get whatever I need. Have I ever had shawarma? I have. I love shawarma. I love a good shawarma. Homemade baklava, I'm sure. Yeah. I have never been to Brazil, but I would love to go because I do like Brazilian food, and I also love bossa nova and samba. I'm a drummer, and as a drummer, I learned quite a bit of bossa nova and samba type style and Brazilian music. I even learned to play the berimbau a little bit. The berimbau, it looks like a bow, right? When you play it with like a coin or a stick, right? So I would love to go to Brazil sometime. Hello to all the new people. You gained weight while watching? Could be. Hello, Ken. Good to see you again. Hello, CD. Thank you, Falcon. I eat too much. I have gained a little weight in the last few months. That is true. I have gained a little bit weight. But I think life is only good if you occasionally gain a little bit of weight. If you never gain weight, you're not living well. What's wrong with you? Every once in a while, you got to let yourself get a little fat. You know why? Because life is too short to be thin. Hello, Jesus from Mexico. Hola, mucho gusto. Do I know any Arabic food? Sure. Yeah, couscous and tagine and foods from the Levant like baba ganoush and hummus and tahini and what else? What's it called? Dolma and yeah. I know some. Yeah, I like to try foods from all over the world, so I have tried a lot. I've not tried everything, but I've tried a lot. I love Indian food. I love Indian food. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Samosas and chicken tikka saag. That's my favorite. Saag. I love a good saag. Tikka's always good. Paneer and naan. Oh my God. Naan is one of my favorite kinds of bread in the world. Garlic naan. Butter naan. Amazing. Yeah. I've never been to Vietnam. No. I would love to go there sometime too. Yeah. I love Mexican food, Jesus. I love Mexican food. Tacos are one of life's great pleasures. There's a taqueria San Marcos in my city that I go to. It's about 20 minutes away. And I can get tacos there are many taco places that I could go that are very close. But I'll drive 20 minutes just to go to this one place because they make the best tacos ever. I love them so much. And it's a Mexican family who runs the restaurant, and it's great. I love it. But not just tacos. I love Mexican food in general, and not American Mexican food. I mean real Mexican food. Did you know that money can't buy you slimness and old age? Yeah, but I mean, the truth is that the majority of the reason why most people, as they get older, gain weight, your body metabolism does change, but the thing that changes also is the amount of activity you do. And if you're really not keeping yourself active, then you will gain weight because your metabolism has slowed down. So I've actually I was thinking about doing a live stream when I'm walking on my treadmill. Just, we can call the live stream Mark is Fat. And, people can talk to me and ask me questions while I walk on my treadmill. I don't think I can do it while I'm running or you won't hear me. I can't talk to you while I'm running. Hello, Jessica. Life is short. If you're a foodie, you should be careful about your weight. But if you care for your appearance, then you can lose a little weight. Depends on how you choose. Right. So, Joy, here's a good vocabulary word for you. Fluctuate. To fluctuate, right? So I gain some weight, I lose some weight, I gain some weight, I lose some weight. It's okay. It's okay. It's a good test of your life skills. It's a good test of your character, I think. People treat you differently depending on how you look. So it's actually kind of interesting to have that sociological viewpoint. Yeah. You can easily overeat garlic naan. I know, me too. Oh my God, stuff my face with it. Dried chicken, have I ever sampled it? Is that a Vietnamese thing? I don't know if I have. I don't think so. Which pizza is the best in America? Captain Jack, I would say, honestly, if you mean what style of pizza, then I would say they're all really good. They're just different, right? So I love New York style pizza. That's one of my favorites. I love Detroit style pizza. It's great. I love Chicago deep dish style pizza. It's great. Even a California pizza can be pretty good, So there are many different kinds of pizza in America. Traditional Italian, of course, also amazing, So, as far as which is the best one of all, I can't choose one. Life is too short to think about singular goodness in the world. There's always something else. There's always another thing that's also really good, and you should appreciate it equally. If you go to America, what will be the most shocking thing you can see? I think a lot of people are shocked by how many homeless we have. I think that's true. It depends on where you go, right? If you just go to tourist places, and you probably won't see much of that, but there are a lot of homeless people here, and sometimes that's shocking to people. Have I ever tried Yemeni food? I haven't tried Yemeni food. I would like to. And I've never visited India, but I would like to also. Again, I'm a drummer. I love Indian food and Indian music. I've studied the tala, takadimi, takadimi, takada, takadata, and tabla drums. I've got a drum back there. You can see right over here. That's a tabla right there. So I would love to go to India sometime, just have never been. I live in Cincinnati, Ohio. The longest words in English, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. No. Who cares, Jack? Who cares? Language is not about how long the word is. What's the worst flavor to me? There are some things that I've tried that are kind of like have a spoiled kind of a flavor, right? Like, for example, most people who try stinky tofu, the first time they try it is the last time they tried it because they just don't like that sour flavor. I actually like stinky tofu. I don't love it, but I like it. It's okay. But there are some things like that. Like stinky tofu is great, but sometimes it's even it can be too stinky for even me, too fermented, too rotten. So rotten, spoiled is the worst flavor for me. Hawaiian pizza's nice too. I like Hawaiian. I don't hate Hawaiian pizza. I think Hawaiian pizza's yummy. It seems I like fried chicken. Are you trying to say I'm fat? Yeah, I love Chicago pizza. I do love Chicago pizza. Giordano's is one of my favorites. Lou Malnati's and Giordano's. Go to either one of those places if you go to Chicago, and you'll get amazing pizza. Yeah, Clay is only going to be doing Wednesday and Friday from now on. He's a little bit busy now with school and work, so he's going to be doing Wednesday and Friday. So Monday will just be me from now on. Okay, let's see. Raise your hand if you want to come talk to me while I eat a little bit of my noodles again. Do I love sushi? I love good sushi, but it's got to be fresh. Andre, I'm more of a night owl. I'm more of a night owl than I am an early bird. Well, okay. Naturally, I'm more of a night owl. I like the nighttime. I like to be up at night. I like to do work at night. But the nature of my job, I have to be up early in the morning. So I usually go to bed around midnight, maybe a little bit later, maybe 1 in the morning. And I usually wake up around 7. 7, maybe 7:30 in the morning. So I get an average of about, if I'm lucky, I get 5 or 6 hours of sleep. And yes, I did make these noodles. I'm eating cold sesame peanut noodles. It is delicious. One moment. ASMR. The crunching and eating of noodles. Yes, I can use chopsticks. 我也会说中文，所以当然我可以，我会 chopsticks 用筷子。Yes, I made the noodles myself. You can see it right here. Here is my peanuts and cilantro, shangsai, and green onion and cucumber. My peanut sauce that I made. Very spicy. Cucumbers and carrots. I like to toast my peanuts to make sure they're nice and yummy. Rice noodles, peanut sauce, mix it together, boom. Come on, tell me that doesn't look good. You'd eat that. I know you'd eat that. I love to cook because I love to eat. Ooh, down the wrong pipe. Spicy. Hot dry noodles are also good. Yes, they are. Yeah, this is similar. This is pretty close to Gan Yeah. You like to do the washing up? Well, that's good. That's good. You just need to find somebody who likes to cook now. If you guys are really looking for more English tips, then please go to my YouTube channel and start watching my YouTube videos, and you will see lots of English tips there. Okay? James, 2016到2020我住在台湾，教英文老师。You also want to know about the rhythm of drums? Carlos, what do you want to know? You ask me a question and I'll tell you what you want to know about drums or rhythm. I've been drumming a lot longer than I've been teaching English, so I can do that probably better. Do I know the Songo? I do know the Songo. Yeah. You're a musician too? Okay, well then maybe you can hear that. I don't know if you could hear my songo, my beatbox songo on my chest. I've been to Hong Kong, but not to anywhere else. Shangang, yeah, 是的, but not to Beijing or Shanghai or Shenzhen or Guangzhou or any of those places, Xinjiang. You play bass guitar? Cool. Awesome. I haven't been to Macau either. I'm not the best Latin drummer of all, you know. I mean, come on, I'm not Latin. So I love Latin music. I love Latin rhythms, but I'm no master of Latin drumming. I can play though. I can do some stuff if I need to. I have played Latin music before. You want to know the basics of drums? Well, that depends on what kind of drums you want to learn. Do you want to learn drum set, like I have back here behind me? Oops, I'm making a mess. That's a drum set. If you want to learn that, that's one thing. If you want to learn, tabla or something, that's different. Very different, as a matter of fact. You have a djembe. Okay. Let me see if I can remember something I can teach you. Let me think. How did that go again? Bass, open, open, close, slap, closed, open, open. Bass, open, open, slow, close, slap, closed, open, open. So, there are 3 different ways that you can hit the drum. Well, there are more than 3 different ways, but for a basic understanding, let's just think of 3 different ways to hit the drum. If you hit the drum with your hand cupped like this, kind of cup your hand tightly and hit the middle of the djembe, you'll get a big bass open sound, big deep sound, right? Big cavernous deep sound. That's called a bass tone. And then you have an open sound. An open sound is where you curve your hands a little bit like this, and you hit the edge of the drum. And it's got a lot of ring to it, a lot of open ring. Okay, so you have bass sound, you have the open sound. Then you have the closed and the slap sound, right? A closed hit is where you hit the drum and you leave your hand on the drum so that it stops the drum from making sound. So it's, instead of it going boom, it goes boom, because your hand stays down there, okay? And then the last one is if you leave your hand, like your left hand is on the drum and your right hand comes down to hit the outside of the drum, that's called a slap tone. And if you learn how to play bass, open, open, close, slap, closed, open, open, bass, open, open, close, slap, closed, open, open, bass, open, open, close, slap, closed, open, open. That's a good basic djembe beat. There you go. There's a drum lesson for you. You want to listen to me sing? No, you don't. I'm not a singer. Well, Alessia, you've done a lot more of China than I have, but you should try to go to Taiwan. It is pretty cool there. What's the biggest difference between Hong Kong and Taipei? Ooh, that's an interesting question. Hong Kong's very different. Hong Kong was, I love it there. It's really interesting. It's such an interesting mix of culture. It's like, I think Hong Kong is kind of like London meets New York meets Shanghai. It's international. It has, the European double-decker British buses, and they have the taxi cabs that look very British. But Hong Kong is this beautiful, interesting coastal city that's right on the water and mountains too, jungle mountains. It's beautiful. It's really, really unique and interesting. And so much good food, and the city is fun to explore and walk around, and it's a cultural, amazing cultural place. And Taipei is also an amazing cultural city, a lot to do there, very modern. I would say the biggest difference between them would be just the skyline, because the skyline of Hong Kong is a coastal skyline, and it's huge. It's wide, right? It's very wide, but the skyline of Taiwan, or I should say Taipei, is very different because most of Taipei, the buildings are not that tall. They're not that tall, but they have Taipei 101, which is huge. And so it's really interesting because you have this city that's huge, very huge city, but right in the middle of it, they have this huge one big tower. And it looms over everything. It's pretty cool. Can I show a little bit using my drums? I'm not really set up for that today. I don't know if I can. I think I can't. Hong Kong is a lot like New York. I think it has a similar international flavor. I think it, like I said, I feel like Hong Kong is kind of like London meets New York meets Shanghai. If you put those together, then you kind of, you get Hong Kong. Let me see something. I think I'm not ready to, I don't think I can play anything, but wait a minute. Check 1, 1, 2. Okay, you can hear me now, yeah? Well, so let me see if I can get this to work or not. Okay, it's working, but I just need to turn the microphone off. So, yeah, here's my drums. These are my drums. And so somebody was asking about a songo earlier, right? So the songo is... So that's a basic songo, right? And then we got bossa nova. Samba. So there's some basic Latin stuff. And the thing I was telling you before about djembe, it goes like this. So I'll play it on my drum here. Let's see if I can do this. So you have bass. A bass note is where you hit like this, right in the middle. Then the open tone on the edge, a slap tone or a closed tone, like this, closed tone and slap tone. And then you get this when you put it together. So, yeah, anyway. And then you got rock, of course. So that's drums. All right. Yeah, there you go. I've been a drummer for like 36 years. All right, let's talk to somebody. Mindy's back. Let's talk to Mindy. Why don't I open a restaurant? I would never want to open one here. Hello, Mindy. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. Let me turn the camera.
Yeah, I can see you. Yeah, so I joined your live stream, and when you start eating noodles.
Yeah.
So I just eat my noodles because after work I really exhausted. Maybe sleep is fresh, so that's why I just go straight to sleep, and I haven't eaten my dinner yet, and I check this, so I generally I eat the noodles like you, but maybe I don't think it's like Chinese noodle. It's Vietnamese noodle.
Mm.
It is from Japanese brand,
Mm.
Asicook.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but it's like contain. It's like contain noodle, like instant noodle, not like fresh noodle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I see Chinese people they eat fresh people fresh noodle.
Well, not necessarily. No, Chinese people eat a lot of instant noodles. Instant noodles are one of the most popular foods in China for sure. But, yeah, instant noodles are very different from fresh noodles. Instant noodles have a lot of chemicals and salt in them. But yeah, it's actually really bad. I didn't know how bad they were until I looked into it. And when I started reading about it, I was like, oh no, I love instant noodles, but I can't do it anymore because they're just too bad for you. Yeah. There's a company in America that there's a couple of Asian guys who started a company in America, and they make instant noodles, but they make good, healthy instant noodles. Like they decided that yeah, I know, it's amazing, but they decided to make a new kind of noodle that's more nutritious, and all of the ingredients, they tried to take out all the chemicals and all of the bad stuff so that you can buy instant noodles that taste like the instant noodles you love, but they're actually healthy for you. Yeah. I thought that was a great idea. It's a great idea.
Yeah, great idea, but I'm so curious how they do that. Did they use like orange food or maybe just oil? I really concerned about oil.
Well, let's take a look. Let me see if I can find it. I think it's this one. I think it's this one. Let me share it with you so you can see.
You can see it's sweet?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Take a look. Surprisingly healthy instant ramen. And so, these they invented, new noodles, and it's healthy with fresh ingredients and everything. So there's black garlic chicken and tom yum and spicy beef, red miso, creamy chicken, pork tonkatsu. Yeah, and these are actually, look at that. I mean, that looks delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have live animation.
Do they have any animation? Like videos, you mean, of them making it? I don't know. But it's a great idea. It's a great company. And again, they have like this Our Story thing, right? So look, it's Kevin Lee and Kevin, what is that? It was an Indian name, it looks like. Chanthasurapan. Okay, so these two guys, they decided to, so one is from Taiwan and the other one is from Thailand, not Indian. Sorry, it's Thai, a Thai name. And they wanted to make healthy instant noodles. So, yeah, like here.
This is how my co-founder and I quit our jobs and created 200 ramen recipes from our kitchen. Meet us, Kevin and Kevin.
Hold on. How do I get that to be bigger? Let me try that again.
This is how my co-founder and I quit our jobs.
No, I think I can't make it bigger.
200 ramen recipes from our kitchen. Meet us, Kevin and Kevin. Close friends on a mission to change the way people enjoy healthy instant ramen. So how did we get here? We started Imi because instant ramen giants have spent the past half-century creating nutritionless, preservative-filled sodium bombs, causing health problems around the world. Our own families have suffered through health conditions like diabetes and high blood pressure from poor nutrition and unhealthy diets eating products like this. So we set out on our dream to create a healthier and delicious instant ramen. Experts in the industry said inventing this would be impossible, but we quit our jobs and created 200 recipes in our own kitchen and launched Imi in January of 2021. and people hated it. Disheartened but undeterred, we spent another year rebuilding our ramen from the ground up, and finally launched the world's first low-carb, high-protein, and fully plant-based instant ramen, Imi, and the people loved it. Imi now has the same bite, chew, slurpability, and wavy curls that you know and love. We have positive taste reviews from hundreds of thousands of happy customers across all 50 states.
Anyway, I don't want to be a big commercial for them, but I think it's a great idea. I think it's a great idea. I love ramen noodles and instant noodles, but they're not good. They're,
great idea.
yeah.
I don't think they like convene you.
You don't think they're convenient?
No, I don't think they healthy ramen convene you or convene all the audience or maybe convene me because they still bad. The instant noodle. I think they still use food. How does it say that word?
Preservatives. Yeah, it won't. Not everybody will change, but some people will. Some people will decide I can't eat that anymore. Like I am trying not to eat instant food like that anymore. I try not to eat instant things or boxed things. I try to make my food.
Instant and back.
Yeah, boxed. Yeah, things that are made in boxed. Yeah. I think that's just a great idea. So I thought I'd give them a little advertisement.
Yeah. So since we talk about food, I'm really curious. So nowadays I heard people, they say like fat pig, pork, and fat from pig is more healthy than other seed oils.
You mean pork fat?
Yeah. Like back in the old days.
Yeah, in the old days, they used to say that. That's right, yeah. And in certain cases, it's actually true. It depends on what you're comparing it to. There are many different kinds of fat. There's beef fat, there's pork fat, there's chicken fat, bacon fat, which is pork, right? And so certainly, I would say it depends on what you're cooking, and it depends on what you're comparing it to, right? So is pork oil better than olive oil? No. Olive oil is definitely much healthier than pork oil. But olive oil, or I should say pork oil, might be more healthy than beef fat, beef oil. So it just depends on what you're using it for and what you're cooking it with. Things, it just depends. I don't think there's any one oil you should use. I think as a cook, I use many oils for many different things. It depends on what I'm cooking.
So, for example, if you make a cake, you coconut oils?
No. Usually in America, when we make a cake, we use canola oil or something called shortening, which is a vegetable oil. Yeah, so we like an oil. When we're making cakes, usually we use an oil that doesn't have a lot of flavor. We want something that's very neutral, so it doesn't affect the flavor of the cake. When you make a cake and you're using the oil is not for flavor, the oil is for texture. It's for the feel, right? Yeah. So you don't want something with a lot of flavor. Like if you used peanut oil is an awesome oil, but it has a very strong peanut flavor. So that whatever you use that with is going to have a peanut flavor. Right? So sometimes that's great. In America, there are some places that like to cook their French fries with peanut oil, and it's delicious. It's so good. That combination of potato with a little bit of that nutty peanut flavor is delicious. But, like I said, I wouldn't want to use peanut oil to cook my my Italian food. Like if I was making... Yeah, because it would change the taste. Yeah, it would. You'd end up with a peanut flavored tomato sauce. Which maybe that's good. Who knows? Maybe it could be good. I don't know. But traditionally, we use different oils for different things depending on the flavor, and also oil has something called a smoke point. Smoke point means every oil has a different temperature that it starts burning at, right? And so you have
Yeah.
to, yeah,
Oxidize.
that's right.
Oxidize.
Yeah.
Really,
It's very important because if you need to cook something at a very high temperature, you need to use an oil that has a very high temperature. If you use an oil that has a low temperature, you're just going to burn it. And then you're going to have that burned flavor, and that's also not good for your health. Yeah.
yeah, teacher Mike, you have so much like knowledge about health. I think about oils. I didn't know that. I have
It's
read
'cause-
about it.
It's because I love cooking. I started
I
playing
love eating,
drums.
but I don't know.
I started playing drums when I was 12. I started cooking when I was 12. So I've been cooking a long time, and I love cooking. So I know a lot about that.
Yeah, I love cooking. I love eating, so I love cooking. But
Yeah,
I
me
don't
too.
have much like knowledge about like read the ingredient or so what ingredient is good for you,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe what oil is good for me. I don't know. I have to study.
Yeah, well, it's something that you do have to learn. But yeah, it's something I've been studying for a long time. Yeah, I have a great book. Just let me see if I can find it. Hold on.
Don't tell me that how not to die. Not to die. Book. Yeah, that's good. So. I think he is looking for a book. Some of these you coconut oil for everything. I think that's good. Some French I don't think I can digest or absorb all of them. Maybe you can like read for me. Or
So,
maybe just for
I love
recommendation.
this book. This book is called Cooking Ingredients, and it's this big, thick book that is nothing but it's just ingredients, and it just tells you all about all the different tomatoes and all the different onions and all the different mushrooms and pork and nuts and
Oh,
seaweed.
I
and
like this book because have
yeah,
a picture. Like,
it's yeah, and they have the pictures too, right? I love this book. It's really fun to read through because it's almost every ingredient that you can ever use in cooking. And then I've got this book. It's called Molecular Gastronomy. It's
What
a
is it?
it's a science. It's like a book that's like kind of about the science of cooking.
I know. How
Yeah.
do you get rid of your like bloating? bloated
No, it's not really
stomach?
that. It's a book where each chapter will teach you how to make one thing, but each chapter explains the chemical processes that happen that make that thing. And if you understand the chemical process, then you can understand the cooking better. Yeah, so Molecular Gastronomy. This is a famous book that every chef owns. It's called On Food and Cooking, The Science and Lore of the Kitchen. And this
Why
book
don't
is
you
about...
become a chef?
well, I thought about it a long time ago. A long time ago, I thought about it. But working in a kitchen is really hard. And running a restaurant is really hard. It's really, really hard. Belen can tell you that. This one is called Near 1,000 Tables. It's a book about food history. Let's see. No, not that one. This one. Cuisine and Culture. Food, a history of food and people. That's a good one.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Cuisine and culture.
And I've got Food, a Culinary History. That's another good one.
Yeah. Yeah.
And finally, Food in History.
All food in history.
Yeah, and it talks about how different foods developed. So, for example, you're from Vietnam. You know, Vietnamese food changed once the French came. Once the French came, now you have a mixture of French and Vietnamese culture coming together. So that's why, like the banh mi sandwich. The banh mi is a perfect mix of French culture and,
So I eat
you know,
every day, but I don't know the history behind.
well, think about it. It has French bread. It has French bread, right? And it has pâté in it, which pâté is French, right? That's the French part. But then inside you have the spicy, you have the cucumbers and the carrots, and you have the spicy sauce, right? Yeah, that's the Asian part. You put them together and you get this beautiful mix, right? So how did that happen? You know, well, that's the French culture and the colonialism, right? And tea. Tea used to be only in Asia, but then eventually the British and the other countries started buying tea and bringing it to Europe, and then it became popular. So now when we think of tea, we often think of British people who drink tea, right? But there was a time when there was no tea in Britain. There was no tea in England before that time. Or Italian food. When you think about Italian food, we often think about tomatoes, pasta, right? And tomato sauce, right? But tomatoes come from Mexico. So Columbus, the man who came to America, who discovered America, right? That's Christopher Columbus. When he went back to Europe, he brought tomatoes to Europe, and that's how they got them. So even chilies, like Thai chilies, like the spicy chilies, those also mostly came from the West, and they were brought to the East. So it's really funny when you think about Thai food, you think about spicy Thai chilies. When you think about Italian food, you think about tomatoes. But those things were brought there. They were brought there. So before that, they were different. And it's interesting to understand how that changed over time, how cultures have changed and how we've mixed. We just don't think about it. We just don't realize it. Like you said, you eat banh mi's all the time, but you never think about the fact that it's this beautiful fusion food.
Yeah.
It's a great mix of foods,
Yeah.
And even the Vietnamese food, many of the foods they make now, they use French techniques when they cook, like kitchen techniques, because the French kitchen is really famous. The way they run their kitchens and their fine restaurants is amazing, right? So all over the world, most of the best kitchens in the world are run in a French style. That's just the way they do it. And so same thing.
Yeah. Vietnamese, like young Vietnamese people, they study abroad to become a chef. They just learn from French.
Right. That's exactly right. Yeah, right. That's right. Most people who want to become great chefs, if they want to go someplace to study, they often choose France because that's where they want to learn the French style of cooking. Yeah, anyway, food is fun because food is such an important part of culture, and food is something that we all experience every day, and we take it for granted, and we don't know enough about it. We don't think about it enough, but the food you eat.
Today. I'm going to research more, or maybe read more. Because when I talked to you, I didn't know anything.
Yeah, you think about it. Food is. That's another reason why cooking is important, because people need to understand how their food is made. If you know how to cook, when I go to a restaurant and I try something, when I eat it, the first thing that happens is I taste it and I think, wow, that's good. The second thing that happens is I think, how did they do that? Yeah. I immediately think like, oh, I think I know how they did that. I think they did this first and then this and then this and then this. And if I don't know, then I might go to the kitchen and ask them. Yeah. I remember one time I was in San Diego at a restaurant, and I went to eat some food, and I had this wonderful appetizer. It was some kind of fried potatoes, but I'd never tried fried potatoes that tasted like that before. And I could not figure out what it was. I was like, what is that flavor? That's amazing. And I went to the kitchen, I asked him, and what they did was they took potatoes, they chopped them up into cubes, they fried them once quickly, and then they dipped them in sriracha hot sauce. and then they fried them again with the hot sauce on it. And I had never ever tried potatoes with fried sriracha sauce on it, and it was amazing. It was delicious. Yeah, and so, cooking.
Yeah. Have you ever go to the restaurant and eat the food and you try to find out what ingredient and try to make it home? To
all the time.
Taste exactly.
All the time. Yeah, all the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
If I like something,
result?
if I like something at a restaurant, then I'll learn how to make it. If I like something at a restaurant, I'll learn how to make it. And most of the time, I think that mine ends up being better. I mean, I practice a lot, and then I make it just the way I like it, right? So I feel it's the best that I like, but maybe somebody else might not like it.
Yeah, me too. I try maybe sometimes, especially for the salad. I really like the sauce they put it on the salad.
Mm-hmm.
So I just like, but basically it's just like apple salad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, food is fun, people. Food is fun. Food is something that we take for granted too much, and there's actually so much to think about. Culturally, historically, nutritionally, chemically, there's a lot to think about. And food is
So
such
outside of food, in drum, in English teachers, what field you are interested in and know more?
Those are probably my big three. Music and drums, cooking and food, and language and English. Those are my big three interests in life. Food, music, and language.
Yeah. How about philosophy?
I like philosophy too. I do like philosophy. Yeah. I read a lot about different philosophers. I have a lot of philosophy books. I love good quotes.
Yeah. So the other day I talked in the classroom with a guy. They believe that like everything is form of energy, and I don't have any ideas about it, and I just stay neutral and don't believe.
Mm-hmm.
And he just like closed the room because he just told to me. I know he's right, but just he just said that like because of your limitation of knowing doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. I agree with him that he just like not friendly like you. Like if I don't have anything to share or if I don't have like no thing that we gonna talk about,
Mm-hmm.
he just say maybe just patient a little bit or friendly a little bit. He just closed. Maybe.
Well, do you know who Plato is? Plato? He's
I think I know
the Greek philosopher. Yeah, the Greek philosopher Plato. He said a quote that's perfect for this. He said, "Most people are not just comfortable in their ignorance, but they're hostile to anyone who points it out." So, if somebody like you didn't agree with the guy and you didn't just say, "Oh yeah, wow, you're so smart, you're so interesting, you must be right." You kind of just stayed neutral and maybe asked some questions. If somebody is comfortable in their ignorance, if they're comfortable with the viewpoint they have, they think they know everything they need to know. They don't need to know anything more. They know the answer already. Then they'll get mad if you point out. If you say anything that makes them feel like they're wrong, they will get upset. But good ideas don't need your anger. Good ideas they can fight for themselves. So there's no reason for you to get angry if you have a good idea, because the good idea will fight for itself. It has its own power. It's a good idea. That's the power of a good idea. It doesn't need you to fight for it. It already does the fighting. So when you have a good idea, you should try to not get upset when somebody disagrees with it, because it's okay. It's okay. They can disagree. it's all right if they disagree. The idea is still good,
Yeah.
you know? So,
But maybe we can say something to turn the conversation more intense, or maybe more outward or something.
well, yeah, of course. I mean, it sounds like, Mindy, there are some people on live streams or
Right.
we live in a very lonely world, Mindy. We live in a lonely world, and everybody is looking to feel validated. They want to feel like they're good, they're smart, that they know
Yeah, of
things,
course.
that they're in control. They want to feel good. And when you go online and you talk about something that you believe in, there will always be some people who agree with you, and that makes you feel good. It makes you feel like, oh, wow, I must be pretty smart because all these people agree with me, you know? But when you find one person who disagrees with you, now they're going to be mad at you, right? That's kind of how being a host is. It's interesting because you have to stay humble. It's very easy to feel like everybody else is wrong and I'm the only one who's right. You know, like it's very easy to feel like that because when you have many people who follow you, it makes you feel like you must be smarter than everyone else. But that's not the way it is. People follow because people need to follow something. That's the psychology of humans. Humans are always looking for something to follow. So there are some people in the world who use their passion about something to try to drive people to follow them. And they might be very passionate about something, and sometimes it can be good and sometimes it can be bad. It depends on what they're passionate about, and it depends on their humility. You know, I love teaching English. I love teaching, period. I love teaching. I would say that's my other interest, is not just language, food, music, and teaching. I love teaching. But teaching is, I don't claim to be the best teacher in the world. I don't claim to be the best at all. No. As a matter of fact, there are many people who are much better than me in many ways about teaching. But I have ideas, and if you like my ideas, great. I'm glad. I'm glad you like my
can follow
ideas.
you.
Yeah, that's great. But I also remember that my ideas are still developing. They're still changing. So the ideas I have now are different than the ideas I had 3 years ago. And they're different than the ideas I had 3 years before that, because I'm still learning. I'm still learning. So if you stay learning, then you stay growing and you stay humble. But sometimes people decide that they don't. If you feel like you want to be in control, you want to tell people you know, so you can't tell people you're still learning, because you can't have that, right? If you're trying to be in control, you also can't say, "Oh, but I'm still learning. I'm not so smart." No, you have to pretend
I don't
like
guess you
right.
anyway.
You have to pretend like you know everything, so you never tell people that you're still learning, you know? But if you say you're still learning, then it keeps you humble, because you are. You're still learning. I will be better 3 years from now because I will learn more. My ideas will continue to grow and develop and evolve. So, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. So you teaching online or offline?
Online. Yeah, I teach online. Yeah. I mean, if there was anybody in my city who wanted some lessons, then I would teach in real life too. But right now, I just teach online. Yeah.
No, that's
Yeah. So, and yeah, again, teaching is one of those things I love, because teaching is an exercise in being humble, because you're helping other people learn and you're helping other people grow. And when you see people learning and growing, it reminds you that you're still learning and growing. So teaching is
Maybe
an
the more-
exercise in humility.
yeah. Yeah, maybe the more we talk, so the more we find out that you like great at something that we didn't know.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, the more you find out, the more you might find out something that you didn't agree with or you don't know, or don't agree, don't believe, right?
No, I mean, the more we talk, the more we find out what you're good at, or maybe
Oh, well, true.
something that we didn't know about you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah, but
Teaching, maybe, maybe coaching. I think coaching is good.
well, teaching and coaching are similar.
They're the same.
They're not the same, but they're similar. Coaching is the only difference is that coaching is also about motivating. It's about motivating and encouraging, right? And teaching should be about motivating and encouraging also, but teaching,
It's more like physical, and the coaching is more like mental.
no, I think that teaching is well, that could be a way to look at it, the way you said. But you could also look at it like teaching is a little bit more like you the responsibility is on the student. But when you're coaching, the responsibility is also on the coach, because the coach is the one who has to make you do things, right? So, but that also sometimes is the same. So, yeah, teaching and coaching are pretty similar. They should, let's put it this way. Every good coach is a good motivator. They have to be. But every good teacher is not a good motivator. There are some teachers who are not good at motivating at all. So that's what I would say the big difference is
Teachers are always harsh.
there are many teachers that, they're very harsh, and they don't understand that a big part of their job is making the student feel like they can do it. There are lots of teachers who they want to make the student feel like they can't do it. They enjoy feeling like they can make some people feel stupid. So, yeah.
You know, and keep studying with them. Like, keep paying the lesson.
Yeah, right. But when I teach, anytime I correct someone, I always do it in a positive way. So if somebody says something that's not quite right, I'll say, I don't just say, no, that's wrong. No, you're wrong. No, that was terrible. No, I don't do that. I say, oh, that's pretty good. Yeah, that's not bad. Now let's try to do this also, right? So I tell them that what they did was good, but let's try to make it better, right? So that's the job of a coach, and that is the job of a teacher too. A good teacher should know that. The problem is there are many teachers who don't recognize that teaching is a motivational job. It's an inspirational job. You're supposed to be inspiring people to want to be better. And if you can't do that, then you don't deserve to teach at all.
Yeah, so I get your point, but so I just thinking if you saying that and the student will make the habit that they always do wrong at the first hand, and they believe.
That's right. So if you always say no, that's wrong, then the students will avoid their mistakes, and they'll feel bad about their mistakes, and they won't learn from their mistakes. But if you say, oh, well, that was pretty good, but let's try this, they will feel that their mistakes are a method of learning, that they shouldn't be afraid of their mistakes. They should learn from them and not worry about them so much. That it's okay. It's just the process of learning involves making mistakes. That's the process of learning. There are some people who believe the process of learning is only about the right answer, getting the right answer. But no, the process of learning is about finding the wrong answers and then learning why. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Maybe I choose the fastest one, the fastest teacher.
Yeah, of course you should. Of course you should. Yeah, I honestly think that there should be a requirement when you become a teacher. That should be the first thing that they try to do. Is they need to look at your personality. They need to see, are you somebody that inspires other people? Are you somebody who motivates or not? If you're not, then you better go learn how or don't teach. You should not be teaching anyone if you cannot motivate and inspire. Yeah.
Wait. Yeah, I think so. Because if you like bring them to like negative things to them.
Yeah, every person has a negative experience with a teacher. Every person has one teacher that was really mean to them or not nice and that they didn't like. Every person has that. But that shouldn't exist. Being a good teacher doesn't mean you're mean. Being a good teacher doesn't mean you're rude. Being a good teacher means you're always there to help. And you're there to motivate and encourage. Sometimes students are lazy. You're right. I know. Believe me, it can be very frustrating. Believe me, to be the job of a patient. When you're a teacher, you have to be very patient. Very patient. And Akainu, I'm not. In English, we have a term. The term is, it's a slang word. It's to be a pushover. A pushover. Okay? And a pushover is something that's very easy. Like if the teacher says, no, you can't do that. And then you say, yes, we can. He says, okay. That's a pushover. That's a pushover, right? He didn't even fight back. He just pushed right over. No problem. You just pushed him over, right? I'm not a pushover. So if my students are bad or rude, I have methods of dealing with them, but I always try to make my classroom a positive learning environment. I want my students to want to come to class. I don't want my students to feel like, oh no, Mark's class again. No, I don't want them. I want them to feel like, oh, great, Teacher Mark's class. And most of my students usually do. When they come to class, they're excited to be there, and that's good.
So that's why you have like so many students around the world. Maybe that so many followers here. That's why.
Well, I think I have many followers on here because there just aren't that many people here who are really, really serious about trying to teach or help people. There are a few. There are some. But there are many, many people here who are just normal people and they're just here to chat and talk, and that's fine too. That's fine too. But, this is not...
Maybe they don't learn. They are not a serious learner. Maybe, but your speaking or maybe your live stream can help them along the way, and they just listen and talk.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The other thing is it's not really a fair comparison because this is my job, and being online, when I turn on the camera, I'm working, is the way I see it. I'm not just hanging out, I'm working. So I speak clearly because I try to speak clearly.
So professional. You see it as working, not like entertainment, so that's why.
Right. Yeah. When I'm here, I'm trying to answer questions and I'm trying to improve people's English and I'm trying to help them with their language seriously. And again, I'm not trying to say there aren't other people. There are many other people who are also doing that too. But I also, sometimes I turn on the live streams to see what other people are doing, and sometimes people are doing nothing at all. They're not. It's really like, what's going on here? What are you doing? And I try to understand what they're doing, but I don't see what they're doing. I can't understand. But yeah,
it's just like black screen.
Yeah, that's right. Or they're just playing music or something like that. I don't know. But when I am here to try to help people and try to talk to people around the world, because that's something I like to do. I like to make friends and connections with people around the world, One day, I hope I can have money that I can travel, and I'll come visit people. So maybe I'll come to, Vietnam, and you can take me to your favorite banh mi place, and we can have a banh mi, know. So
that's why I have to see a team to talk to you to practice my English, because you have so many audience So I had to jump early and save my spot.
Yeah, you're smart. You're smart. You come in and you immediately hit the button, so that's good. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
But other people, you guys can talk to me too, but you just have to, be willing to wait. Sometimes you have to wait a little bit. But, well, Mindy, it's always a
Wait in
pleasure
line.
to see you. It's always a pleasure to talk with you. I love your smile. When I think of you, I think of your smile now because you've got a great smile. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Everyone's saying that because I like bring maybe more energy.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you have a bubbly energy.
Bubbly?
Yeah,
I think
bubbly.
This is my new word.
Yeah,
Let's see.
bubbly energy. It means you've got this happy kind of contagious energy that when you come into a room, you've got this. Oh, hi. Hi. How are you? Nice to see you. You're happy and bubbly. It's bubbly, like bubbles. When they come up, they're like happy, right? They're bubbly, right? So you can say you have a bubbly personality.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
I can't be contagious to you, but I can see you always have full energy.
Not always. I try to have good energy, but not always. There are some times when I'm tired and I'm frustrated and I'm not happy and maybe I didn't sleep well or I'm hungry or whatever, but I try to be. But it is a hard job sometimes sometimes you're not happy and you have to try to put on a happy face and pretend,
Yeah, maybe the instant noodle can push your
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, thank you for bringing me here.
You're
Have
welcome.
A nice,
Take care, Mindy. I'll see you next time, okay?
yeah,
Okay.
Evening. Yeah,
Bye-bye.
bye.
Okay, let me read some comments and make sure I'm not ignoring the comments. Let's see. We all have different ways of learning. It's good to understand that some people learn at the first or second try, but some learn in the 20th. That's right. Daniela, I look at it like some students are like flowers, right? Some flowers bloom in March and some flowers bloom in September, right? And you can't be mad at the flower because it didn't bloom. It isn't ready yet. It has to bloom when it's ready, right? And that's how students are. So there's sometimes when for 1 year, I have one student who's a real pain in my butt and he's a really bad student. But then the next year he comes back and suddenly he's blooming and he's a different student, And I am not British. No, I just speak clearly. Let's see. There are many different American accents, WB. I have the American Midwestern accent. It's the most neutral of all the accents, so it tends to be the most clear of the American accents, and that's why you can understand me pretty well. Plus, I'm trying to speak clearly. How to deal with study slackers? Well, first you motivate. You always start with motivating. You do your best to try to motivate your students. And you can't motivate your students if you don't know why they're learning. And many students don't know why they're learning. A big part of being a good teacher is trying to get your students to understand the connection between the things they're learning and the things they want to do in life. Right? So if you're learning math and you want your students to care, then you should show them how math will be important to them in their goals, in their lives. Right? If you want them to learn science and you want them to care about it, then you need to show them, okay, what do you want to do in life? You want to become an engineer? Oh, well, if you want to be an engineer, then you need to know science. You need to know about physics and you need to know about, chemistry and whatever. Right? Or if you want them to know about history, then you have to show them why history is important to them. Why should they learn it? Many teachers don't understand that. They take that for granted. No, it's not. My accent is not British. It's not a bit British. It's definitely American accent. The reason you think it's British is because I enunciate. Which means I overpronounce all of my words and letters and sounds. So that's why it's extra clear. And you associate extra clear with British. That's why. Yeah. You're welcome. Some students say English is useless. How do you respond to it? Well, that would be a pretty stupid, silly thing to say today, that English is useless. That's a pretty easy argument to kill, you know? There are about 1 billion different reasons why English could be valuable to you in your world life, depending on what you want to do. If you want to play video games, what's the number one language used for playing video games around the world? English. If you want to travel, what's the number one language in the world to use for travel? If you want to do business, what's the number one language to use to do business? If you want to be in politics, what's the number one global politics? What's the number one language to use? English. So again, all you have to do is find out what your students care about and then make a link to English. That's right. To motivate people, sell what they are looking for. That's exactly right. That's exactly what I'm saying. Is you find out what they want to do in life and then figure out how you can connect it to what you're teaching. That's it. What's the meaning in life? The meaning in life is to give life meaning. I always love that quote. The meaning of life is to give life meaning. Okay, let's see. Did I miss anybody over here? I think I did. Oh, I didn't. Okay, good. All right. Before I forget, let me give you guys my YouTube. Here is my YouTube channel. If you want to go there, you can find lots of videos about learning English. You can also follow me on my website. You can get private lessons from me. If you want private lessons from me, then go to my website and sign up and get some private lessons from me. Or you can go here and find all of my links also. We are all going to die ultimately, so why give it a meaning? Franz, I could say the exact same thing, but in the opposite. We're all going to die eventually, so why not give it meaning? Franz, your argument is easily flipped on its head. I could say the exact same thing, but say, hey, we're all going to die eventually anyway, so why not do stuff? Right? If you have a choice of just sitting in a room in a dark closet and doing nothing, or going out to try some new foods, then you should do that one, because if we're all going to die anyway, then you may as well enjoy it. Does it mean that life has meaning by itself? It does. If you give it meaning. Oh, wait, doesn't. Does it mean that life doesn't have meaning by itself? Kind of. I don't want to say it in this nihilistic kind of a way, Panda Man, but what I would say is that the Earth is just a planet and has no specific purpose or goal. It exists. Existence has neither meaning nor lack of meaning. It just is. Okay? But humans put meaning to existence through what they do in their time, in that existence. That's the way I look at it. Okay? It doesn't have meaning. It only has meaning if you're internal. No, Franz, go get some sun. You're too sad. Go get some sun. You need some sun, man. Life is not only meaningful if you live forever. No, as a matter of fact, life has more meaning the shorter your life is, the more meaning your life can have. Potentially. There are some people who are only in this world for a brief amount of time, but they have a tremendous effect on the people who are there. Right? But Franz, cheer up. Cheer up. Don't be so dark. It's easy to be dark. It's easy. This is the thing that I've just learned at this stage in my life, is in the last few years I've really come to the conclusion that life does suck. Life does suck. That's the Buddhist principle. Life is suffering, right? And you can wake up and you can choose to be to recognize the negatives and only live in that negative world, or you can try to find the things that are good in life and try to focus on them. And I don't encourage people to try to only do one or the other, right? I think the best place to live is with balance, which means in a balanced life, there are days when you should be sad, and there are days when you should be happy. Sadness is a natural part of life, and I don't think it should be avoided. I think it should be accepted. Yeah. Nancy, I usually do my streams I usually start around 9 a.m. my time, which is 9 p.m. Beijing time. Okay, and hello, Neo. Thank you, Daniela. Take care. Franz, no, Franz. Franz, how old are you? Let me ask you that, Franz. How old are you? I'll tell you how I can win this argument very quickly. I've been here longer than you. I can tell you that, yes, we all die. So what? Every man dies, but not every man lives. There's another good quote for you. Every man dies, but not every man lives. The meaning of that quote is to get off your ass, stop bitching and moaning, and go out and live your life. Gray says, if you don't know sadness, you won't enjoy happiness. And hello, Gray, good to see you again. I agree. Gray, what I say is that you can't truly know how high the mountain is until you know how low the valley is. That's what I say. When you know the lowest point, when you've experienced true sadness and depression and darkness, then the high points feel even higher, right? My YouTube channel name is here. Ooh, there's an interesting name, Periapt of Mena. There's a D&D player if I've ever seen one. And what makeup you put on is the meaning of your life? No, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say the outside thing that we portray is the meaning of life. No, I would say the meaning of life is learning and growing. That's the meaning of life. The meaning of life is to give life meaning, right? To find something to do that you feel like you're adding to the world, and to grow and evolve. Let's put that on there also. If you're not growing and evolving, then you're not truly living a meaningful life. You should be growing and evolving and learning all the time. If you need help with English, go to my YouTube channel and start watching some of my videos. Okay? Life is bittersweet. I agree. Yeah. Okay, guys. Let's see. It's 12:30. My stomach is growling. I've been drinking too much coffee. And I've been here for almost 2 hours. So I'm going to talk to one more person, and then we'll call this a day here. So let's talk to Sheeb. Sheeb, hello, Sheeb.
Hey there. Good to see you.
How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great.
Good.
How are you doing there?
I'm not bad. So what can I do for you today? How can I help you? Do you have a question or something you wanted to talk to me about?
So, I've been looking forward to getting to your video actually. You said you had just said that that you've been here for 2 hours, right? So at the beginning I came here, then I tried to get into your conversations, but I couldn't. But fortunately, right now I got. Thanks God. All right. So you asked me if I had any questions or not. Yeah. First, okay. I have a question like, how do you find strengths in challenges
Oh, wow.
in your life?
Challenges are growth. So if you're not challenging yourself, you're not growing, and that uncomfortability that we feel when we're challenging ourselves, that's growth. Growth happens with great energy, right? So when you're changing, it's usually difficult and painful and somehow a struggle. That's the nature of change, is whether it's physical change or emotional change or chemical change. All of those, they all happen in some sort of a energetic way. There's a point of change that is for example, when water changes from water to steam, there's that point where that energy is growing and growing and growing, and then it becomes something else, and it has to suffer through that in order to get there, right? So this is when sometimes I'm talking about learning, and I tell people that I'm a drummer, and when you're a musician, if you're a professional musicians, when they practice, they sound different than when amateurs practice. When amateurs practice, they do the things they like. They have fun. They're not really trying to challenge themselves. They're just enjoying themselves. But professionals, when they practice, it doesn't always sound good. And the reason why is because they are always trying to find that edge of where they actually have ability and where they don't. And they're trying to push themselves further. And they know they can't get there unless they go through that uncomfortability. So Rumi, the Persian poet Rumi, he says, all of your anxiety comes from seeking harmony. Seek disharmony and you will find peace. And I love that quote because that quote reminds you that you can't become comfortable without being uncomfortable first.
All right, good answer. I got you what you meant. Thank you very much for that explanation. And okay, we all are people. We may come across with many different, stages in our life, ups and downs, of course. All right. In your point of view, how do you actually face the challenges in your life? What do you do? In other words, what do you do to find strength while you are down to earth, mentally or physically? What do you do actually?
Let me think about that for a moment. I think anytime I have a big challenge in my life, the first thing I do is I start with contemplation. I think.
Sorry?
Contemplation. To contemplate. I think. I think, I consider, I mull, those words, the word to stew over something means to think about it for a great time, because stew is like a thick soup that we cook for a long time and you have to always keep going and mixing it, right? So you stew about it, you think about it, you contemplate about it. And I consider the possible options, the possible choices. Every time I have a problem in life, the first thing I do is look at it and try to figure out how I can break it down into something I can understand and deal with. And again, this is a skill I learned from being a musician. Same thing. When I'm a musician, if there's a certain style of music that I want to learn, then I look at, okay, well, if I want to learn that, then what's required? What do I need to do? What do I need to learn? What are the component parts of it that I can break it down into something smaller that I can fix? So every big problem is actually just many, many small problems. But many people don't know how to break them down into small problems. So they always see that it is a big problem and they always feel overwhelmed. So the secret of getting progress in life is trying to figure out how to break your problems down into smaller problems. For example, if you have to clean your room and your room is really messy and you don't want to do it and you feel lazy, you should tell yourself, okay, if I can't clean my whole house, then I'll clean my room. If I can't clean my room, then I'll clean the corner of my room. If I can't clean the corner, then I'll clean my bed. You'll do something. And then after you clean your bed, then you can try to do just the corner. And then after you do the corner, then you can try to do just the room. You take them in small steps that you can break down and beat. Big problems seem like they're impossible because they're big.
Break down into pieces, right?
That's right.
Yeah, break down into pieces, then just go for the smallest one. Then like that, we can just...
That's right. Yeah. So the first thing I do is think, because you have to think about the problem so you understand the parts of it and how to figure out a strategy to get through it, to break it down into something smaller.
So what you're saying is actually, briefly, you're saying like, once you are come across with any problem, you will just break into pieces those things, right? The problems. And
generally,
you will try to find the problem first. Then, just like after diagnosing the problem, a doctor treats us, right?
That's exactly right. You have to analyze them first. You have to examine them and analyze them first. Then you think about it. Then you consider your options and you address it like a symptom, like each symptom. Like just figure out how to fix this one first and then go on to the next one. But without there are some people who always don't know the exact problem, to be honest, and they are also of course that I think that also works perfectly. Like some people, when they are stressed, go out with their friends and hang out with their friends, get along with their friends and besties, and while talking with them for a while, we get we can release our stress. Just like, this hello talk, right? Now, why I've been using this for a couple of months. No, a couple of weeks actually. So, why I feel alone right now. I work in Uzbekistan right now, leaving my family, friends, everyone behind in my own country. So I feel alone and loneliness here. So I started using this app, and it could absolutely release my stress. So here also, while I'm talking with you, I feel just like you are my brother, you are my bestie. So like that, some people that's beautiful,
think
isn't
like
it?
That. I am one of them.
That's one of the great things about this app is that what we're doing right now is crazy. When I was a boy, I was in my basement and I was using a shortwave radio in my basement to try to see if I could listen to BBC or Radio France, to listen to something in Europe. And if I heard just a few minutes, I was like, wow. And now I'm online talking to people on video, on on camera with perfect quality from everywhere in the world, and we're sharing through the same language even. You know, it's amazing what we're doing. People take it for granted. They don't understand how tremendously incredible this technology is. And what you just said is important. You are going through a difficult point in your life where you feel lonely and you need connection, and you're not getting it locally. So this is a good way. And I do the same thing, actually, Sheeb. It's kind of funny because I'm a gregarious person, which means I can make friends. I don't have problem making friends, but I also am very isolated because the nature of the way I live my life means that I can't relate to many people around here. The job I have is very different. The goals I have in life are very different. The things I do are very different. You know, they're raising families and they have jobs at, you know, an office, and it's very, very different from my life. And so it's very different for me, very difficult for me to connect with people here because I feel international and they feel local. And and so I use HelloTalk for the same reason, because I love to be able to talk to people and still feel like I'm social, but I'm connecting to the community that I want to connect to, you know. But what you were saying earlier also is important because you touched on one other important idea, which is that when you use social media, or when you use video games or movies or TV, or these things can make us feel good temporarily, and sometimes it's a good thing because it's like a little bit of medicine.
You're right, absolutely right.
But sometimes it's not a good thing. Sometimes it's actually like a form of escapism. Escapism means you're trying to get away from your problems. You're trying to ignore your problems for a bit so you escape to somewhere. Video games are a classic example of that, right? Some people, they play video games for many, many hundreds of hours, and then they win. They win the game. And when I ask them, what did you win? They say, well, the game. But I say, what did you win? You spent 250 hours of your life. What did you actually win in the real world? Nothing. Video games, sometimes video games give us a false sense of accomplishment. You know, we feel like, oh, I won, I did something, but you didn't really. And for 250 hours of your life, you should feel like you got something out of it. You know, you should feel like there was something gained.
Of course. Of course, with all of them, actually, we get only, temporary satisfaction.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, right.
I agree with you.
And again, I'm not trying to say video games are bad. They're okay as long as you understand this important thing, that sometimes people use video games as a way to escape real life. And it's a fun place you can go where you can feel good about yourself for a while. But then you have to get back to the real world. And you have to remember that however much time you spend in that digital video game world doesn't actually do anything for you in the real world. So, you know, you can become the best player of that video game in the world, and it actually will mean almost nothing in the real world. So...
But nowadays, everyone actually is running after video games virtually.
I know. Yeah.
Leaving the real world, as you said, actually behind them.
Yeah, I know.
They know actually this is not good. What are they doing? But for them also, there is no other option but to do this one, because they have lost the connection with the community. Actually, the community plays a vital role in our life.
I agree.
If we know that one.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Yeah. That is one of the things about...
Even the parents also, look at the parents and following the parents, children also are in the same boat actually in the future. So we cannot blame, anyone else. But we have to point our finger to ourselves first. We are doing the same thing. Then we are not actually...
That's right. You're not actually accomplishing it. You're not actually trying to fix the problem. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And again, like I said, every problem in life is like learning how to swim. you know, when we learn how to swim, we're afraid to jump in the water first. You're always afraid to jump in the water, but you have to if you want to learn how to swim. So eventually we just jump in. We recognize that you have to do it, so you do it. That's the way problems are. There are some problems that make you really feel like I don't really want to jump in this water. I really don't want to jump in this water, but you have to in order to face the problem. You have to, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes we have to forget about the problems, and then only we can move on. We can move our life on.
Well, that's why, like I said, I'm not trying to tell everybody that they can't enjoy video games or TV or movies. You can, but you just have to recognize that, you know, there are times when you need to turn your brain off and relax. That's true. But how much time are you turning your brain off? How much time? That's what I try to get people to think about is how much time is your brain off? You're not thinking. You're not considering.
Excuse me. Some people actually forget about turning on their brain.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Some people never turn it on at all. Yeah. It's dusty, you know? Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I try to say.
Yeah. Crystal clear truth.
Yeah. And to make that point, that's why sometimes when I play a video game or if I watch TV or a movie, very often when I do it, there are some times when I just want to relax and that's all I'm doing. My brain is kind of off and I'm just relaxing and enjoying it. But there are other times when what I do is I think, like, if Albert Einstein were watching this movie, what would he be thinking about? If Leonardo da Vinci was watching this movie, what would he think about? If Nikola Tesla was watching this movie, what would he be thinking about? If Plato was watching this movie, what would he be thinking about? I try to elevate my mind. So even if I'm watching something silly, something very silly, I'll try to think about, if Plato were watching this, what would he be thinking about? You know, like I try to figure out how I can turn this silly thing that's a distraction into something actually thoughtful.
I have I have 2 lines of a poem I have read, and it strikes me well, those 2 lines. That is, defeat the defeat before the defeat defeats you.
Yeah, that's right. Defeat the defeat before the defeat defeats you.
Defeats you, actually. So we have to be ready to welcome the challenges. We should be well prepared.
Yeah.
Otherwise we will be, otherwise the challenges will get us down in our life in a way that we cannot come up from there.
The other thing about challenges is challenges are important because challenges are how you develop self-confidence, right?
Yeah, challenges are important. I absolutely agree with you. But challenges are important, but we should know how to deal with them.
Absolutely.
The challenges. Otherwise, it's adversely affect us.
Oh, sure, of course. Yeah, it's just like being sick. If you have cancer, you have to know how to deal with it or it adversely affects you, right?
Yeah.
But what I mean is there's an important factor in humanity. As a teacher, a big part of my job is motivating and encouraging people to feel like they can learn, right? And it's funny how many people don't feel like they can. There are many people who have low self-esteem. I think most people, to be honest with you, have low self-esteem. And a lot of the reason why they feel that way is because they don't feel that they have badges of accomplishment, right? So when you accomplish something, if you become, if you learn how to cook this dish, you can put that badge on your chest and wear it and say, I learned how to cook this thing. And because you have that one badge, now you feel like you can get another one. So you say, I learned how to cook this. Maybe I can learn how to cook that too. Oh, and if I learn how to cook that, that's right. So this is what I call the pride-confidence connection, right? So when you learn how to do something, if you accomplish it, it gives you self-confidence, and that gives you energy in that pride, and we take that pride and we go and we do something else, and that gives us energy, and that gives us pride, and that gives us energy, and that gives us pride, and that gives us energy, and we keep learning how to do things, and if you fail, that's okay. You just have to try again. I always tell people that the only way to fail is to quit.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah. I also do say to my students, I'm also a teacher, unfortunately. I love teaching. I'm
Good
an
for
English
you.
teacher in Uzbekistan right now, under the Ministry of Education for around 2 years.
Wow.
I've been working here in the
Good for
country.
you.
So, but basically, I'm from India. All right. Anyway, I also do highlight and emphasize this point to my children. You should be able to face the challenges because challenges bring growth, as you
Right?
said.
That's exactly right.
Challenges,
Yeah. Challenges bring growth.
bring growth.
That's exactly
Yeah,
right.
without challenge, in other words, actually, failure is the stepping stone to success.
That's exactly right. I say the same thing. Failure is the first step to success. That's right. Yeah.
That's actually, I rounded up your point, actually.
Yeah, there you go. That's
I just
exactly right.
added
Yeah, that's
Holy
exactly
shit.
what it is. Yeah. Failure is the first step to success. That's right. Yeah. As long as you don't quit, you don't fail. That's really what it comes down to. The funny thing is that school is where we learn that failure is bad. School is where we learn that mistakes are bad. That's where we become afraid of mistakes and afraid of failure. Because when you get that big red mark on your paper that says wrong, you feel bad, and then you want to really avoid those things, so you try to run away from them. But learning, a really important part of learning is mistakes. What I tell people is it's like being a scientist. When you're a scientist and you have a theory, you have to prove your theory through experiments. And when you do your experiments, you might do that experiment, let's say you do it 100 times, and 60 times the experiment was a success, and but 40 times it was a failure. Which one did you learn more from, the successes or the failures? You learn more from the failures. When you're a scientist and your experiment doesn't go right, you say, oh, what happened? Why? Why did that not work out the way I wanted it to?
Yeah,
and then you
yeah.
learn
It's
from
a kind
that.
of learning.
That's
Learning,
right. That's
Learning
right.
from mistakes.
That's right.
Learning from mistakes actually makes us perfect.
That's exactly right. Yeah. So mistakes are.
Right.
If you're not making mistakes, you're not making progress.
Each mistake is a kind of learning for us, and we can understand. Oh, I should not do this one.
That's right.
And I should not have done this one.
Right.
Yeah. If I do like this, I can make it much better. If
That's
I had
right.
not done this one, I would. Yeah.
Yeah.
So and so on. We can
That's right.
understand. So, yeah.
But like I said, school has a psychological training that makes you feel like mistakes are bad, so you start avoiding them. You think that they're bad. You're afraid of them, and that makes you feel not confident about speaking. You feel like, I'm afraid to answer because I'm afraid to be wrong. Guess what? I'm not afraid to be wrong. I'm more than happy to be wrong, because then when I'm wrong, I can learn.
That has been seen actually in conventional teaching. Actually, that has been seen. Most
Right.
of the teachers actually try to get students down actually when they make mistakes. Now also, I'm sorry to say, you are also a teacher, right? Now also many teachers.
Uh-oh. Did we lose Sheeb?
Backbenchers.
Oh, there we
And
go.
the backbenchers, the students, students actually, when they make some mistakes, the teachers also push them back.
Right. Yeah, right. Now, I don't blame them.
rather than encouraging them.
Right.
Encouraging them. It's okay. No problem. It is actually. You make more mistakes. I like mistakes. I do say to.
Yeah, the connection's getting a little shaky.
That is what you also have the. You. I also say like that.
Sheeb, your connection is a little bit shaky, so I didn't quite get everything you said there. That's okay, but I think I got the basic of what you said. And I don't blame teachers for that, because it's the system. The problem is the system. The traditional way that we teach kids, you have one teacher who's teaching 30 kids, and they have to try to get all of those kids to be able to be comfortable and confident in that material. And that's 30 different kids with 30 different ways of learning and 30 different sets of abilities, and that's difficult, and they have a time limit to do it in. If we really wanted to make school great, school should be just like learning a musical instrument. So, for example, learning a musical instrument, if you want to be good, then you have a class in school, and you do that class, and that's with a group of people. But you also have a private teacher every week, and that private teacher is just for you one-on-one. So if our school system was one where you have a class with a group of people, but you also have a private tutor every week that you get to go to ask all your questions, and that private tutor can make sure that you get individualized learning, right? It's customized to you as a person.
And you are in the right direction too.
Right, yeah. But when you're a public teacher and you have to teach a group of children, it's always, it's never going to be perfect, because you're always going to have a few kids who don't understand the way you explained it. You're always going to have a few kids who are a little bit behind and a few kids who are a little bit ahead. So that's why, like I said, when I was learning music, I had band class in school with a group of kids. But in that class, there were, let's say, 40 people in the band. Let's say there's 40 of them. 10 of them, those kids not only had the band class, but they had private lessons with a private music teacher once a week, and those kids were really good. The 10 who had private lessons and public class, they were really good. But the other ones were just struggling because they only have the one method of learning from the one teacher, and that's it. That's the biggest flaw.
And the teacher also had a struggle to deal with all the students.
Yeah, right. That's exactly right.
At one time.
Yeah, and they've made that even worse. They've made that much worse over time. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's you're absolutely right, actually. So, okay, let's talk about the advice. Actually, what are the advice you have to give if you're asked by a youngster? What in other words, I can say, what is your advice to give to young people?
Just general
about challenge.
Okay, about challenges. Well, I mean, I hate to be simplistic about it, but face them. That's it. The sooner you learn that you have to face them. You know, like I can remember, Sheeb, there was a time when I was afraid of everything. I was afraid of everything. I remember I think I was like 10 years old, and there was a karate class in my neighborhood that I wanted to sign up for. I wanted to go to this karate class, and I remember I walked in to ask about it, and I was with my mom, and the teacher was pretty serious guy. He was pretty serious about his karate. And I walked in, and the kids were all doing push-ups on their knuckles. You know, like they're doing push-ups on their knuckles. And I was like, whoa, this is not what I expected. And I ended up being too scared. I said, no, I can't do that. I can't. I don't want to. Now I'm afraid of that. I don't want to do that. And I walked out, and I didn't take the karate class. And I regret that. To this day, I regret that because it was stupid. I was afraid of something so silly, like just doing some push-ups on my knuckles. And so now I've learned over time that every time I face my challenges, I grow and I become more powerful. I feel more empowered. Not powerful, empowered. I feel more empowered. Yeah. That would be one of the biggest things I would tell people is face them. Yeah, face. It's really that simple. Yeah. Face your challenges. Whatever your challenges are, there is no other choice but to face it. it will come back to
Right.
get you later. If you don't face it now, it will come back to get you later. So you may as well face it now. The sooner you
All right.
face a problem, the sooner you accomplish it.
What would you like? What would you like to say to me as a teenager?
Teenager,
at the same time,
a teenager today. Like if you were a teenager today, what would I tell you?
yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I would say that we live in a new world, and that's a very global world. And the sooner you start thinking of yourself as a global person, the better. Right now, we have a very interesting period of time where we have some people who are living in a local way, and we have some people who are living in a global way, an international way. There are some people who are thinking about the community that they live in as being just this small little group of people. And there are some people who are thinking about the community they live in as just the whole world. And honestly, what we really need in this world right now is a bunch of people who understand that we live on a globe, we live on a planet, and you need to see yourself as that. You need to see yourself as this whole world is mine. So when we separate ourselves, when we say, this is my culture and that's your culture, no, man, your culture is my culture. Do you know why? Because we all live on this one big rock flying through space. So I can enjoy Indian food and Indian music just as much as you can. It sounds good and it tastes good to me, so why can't I enjoy your culture just like you enjoy mine? You might enjoy a good hamburger sometime or pizza. That's not your culture, but you enjoy it, right? So the sooner we see ourselves as part of a world community, the better. And it's important because here's the reason why this is so important, because I'm telling you what I wanted to tell myself when I was a teenager. If you found me when I was in high school and you told me that I was going to be an English teacher teaching in Taiwan and that I would learn Chinese and that I would have 75,000 people around the world that I could talk to, I wouldn't have believed you. I wouldn't have believed you when I was in high school. And my world was my city then. That was it. My world was not even my whole city. My world was just my side of the city. It wasn't even my whole city. My world was so small. So the first thing...
like east or west, home is the best, like that, right?
Yeah, right, yeah. And so I think the first thing I would tell myself is go out and see the world and recognize that you are part of it.
Yeah. So you're saying actually live globally, right?
Yeah. You should see
in local way.
Well, I mean, I think you need to be connected to both. Right? So here's the way I see it, Sheeb, is 5,000 years ago, your idea of the world was a tiny little thing. It was just your village. That was your whole world, was your village 5,000 years ago. And then 1,000 years ago, maybe it was a little bit bigger. You knew about a few people who traveled to a few cities nearby, but that was about it. Okay, then a few hundred years later, now we have areas, regions, right? City-states, right? And it's a slightly bigger community. And then in, the Renaissance period, around 1400, 1500, we started developing what we call countries, right? And now we've been kind of stuck in that period of we see ourselves as part of a cultural and nationalistic viewpoint. But again, every astronaut, when astronauts go to space, this is what they have this tremendous feeling, this powerful feeling. When you see the world from up there, it changes the way you look at the world because you see yourself as this whole global community. You're seeing the entire world from up there. It's crazy when you think about that. And that changes the way you view. So that's what I'm trying to encourage you to understand, is that the natural progression of community is global. That's the natural, it's the next step. We've been stuck in this idea of local nationalistic ideas for a while. And I'm not saying you shouldn't care about your country. You can still care about your country, but you should recognize that your country is part of the entire world and that we all are, we're all here. We all need to work together.
I got you, actually. Yes, I got you, actually. So it was great time with you, Teacher Mark. By the way, what's the time there right now?
It is 1 p.m. exactly.
1 p.m. exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so you are in USA, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I'm in Cincinnati, Ohio, which is the same. It's the same time as New York City.
Okay, I have to tell you right now, taken from the bottom of my heart, that you knocked my socks off because of your presentations. It's the way you delivered all the ideas was just great, awesome.
Wow, thank
Keep
you.
it up, and you are real inspiration. I'm not just quoting you, or I'm not just what can I say, just saying lie. I'm saying the truth right now.
I
actually.
appreciate
so
that.
You knocked my socks off. Appreciate it.
I appreciate
Good
that
job.
very much. No, I love to teach. You know, I love to teach. And it's a true passion for me, you know. And when I start getting anything that I feel truly passionate about, whether it's drums or food or music, when I get into my true passions, it's like, it's
So
almost
basically, you find a teaching way in everything that you give the hand, right? All right.
Yeah. You know,
So
I
that's
think
great.
I tell people that because I struggled as a student, I struggled as a student, and because I struggled as a student, it made me into a great teacher, because I understand the struggles of students. So I tried to think about if I were going to teach, then what would I want to be? That's what I became. I became what I thought teaching should be, and because I learned how to learn better.
You chose the teaching profession. You chose the teaching profession.
Yeah. So
Students choose, right?
I started teaching when I was 18 years old. I started teaching drums at the local music store. I started teaching drums when I was 18, and so teaching was something that I did because I was into music, and I thought I wanted to be a drummer and just be a professional drummer, and that was it. But I found out that I'm a much better teacher than I am a drummer. I'm a good drummer. I feel better about being a teacher, you know. And then I became an English teacher in 2009. And for me,
really?
teaching is teaching is teaching is teaching is teaching. I don't care what you're teaching. It's the skill. You need, if you have the knowledge, the facts, then you just need the ability to teach. And so I could teach anything. I just need the knowledge. I have the ability already.
Yeah. So luckily, I'm also fond of teaching, actually, since 2012 or 13, while I was studying in my degrees. All right, I started from there, and till today, I am a teacher by the grace of God, actually. So I love teaching.
Yeah.
And let me ask you one more question, Mark. What are the three major roles of a teacher? Very major. Three major roles of a teacher.
Let me think about that for a moment.
All right.
One is to make your students believe in themselves. That's one thing. Two is to inspire them to do something with their belief. And three is to ignite that flame of learning, right? That passion for learning.
It was broken, actually. Once again, repeat the three one.
The third one is to ignite that flame of learning, right? That flame,
ignite.
that flame inside their head, that's my favorite part of teaching is when you see a student and that light goes on in their head and they go like, oh, I get it now. That's one of my favorite things in the whole wide world. That's like when you take a bite of something delicious. There's this feeling that's so satisfying. And when you see a student who gets it now, and they suddenly, and that light goes on, and you see that energy, and you see that sense of excitement about learning. That's what I love, is when you turn curiosity into passion.
There should be a thrill about learning, right? Ignition, right? So once they are ignited, the result actually for the society.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Without that
ignition,
being ignited, being ignited, society gets nothing, right?
That's right.
So society should get something from the future. From the future. Future means the students.
Right. Yeah. And here's
the future.
The other thing is that teachers should understand that their job is not to get the student to pass a test. Their job is to get them to love learning. That's their job.
Yes.
And they should understand, every teacher should be trying to get their students to understand that school is not the end of learning. School is your training ground to learn how to learn. So that when you leave school, you should have a mind that can learn. And then you should use it to learn about the world you live in. So lots of people, they go to school, and when they finish school, it's like they're done learning. They're like, I'm finished learning now. I don't need to learn anything more, right? But no, school is supposed to be like a training ground for a soldier. And once you're trained, then you have to go fight. So the same thing is true with learning. Once you're trained, now you have to go fight, and the fight is knowledge, learning, growth, evolution. Yeah.
Knowledge is a weapon that can change the world.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, or destroy it.
So inspire to do. What do you think about, actually, as far as you're concerned, what do you think about inspiring students to do what they want, right? Not no need to follow the exact syllabus what they are following in the school curriculum. They have to be inspired to follow their passion, their dreams. How much do you agree with me?
I agree. However, I've adjusted my viewpoint of that, because when I was a kid, when I was in high school, all I wanted to be was a drummer, and that's all I thought about, and I was convinced that that's all I would ever do and all I would ever be. And so that's where I put all of my energy. But here I am now, and things have changed quite a bit. And so what I would say is that you should find your true passion. That is one of the most important things in life. I call it finding diamonds. Everybody's walking around with some diamonds, but they just don't find them. Your talents are your diamonds. They're waiting there for you to figure out what your talent is, but many people never even look. And diamonds are like that. You could be standing on a diamond right now, but you don't know because you didn't dig, right? And so, However, I think if I could go back and tell myself again about being a drummer, I would say that you should consider education is a basic set of tools for success in life. So,
yeah, of course,
education is something that you need no matter what degree or what field you want to go in. You know, if you want to be a drummer, you still need education. If you want to be an astronaut, you still need education. If you want to be a sailor, you still need education. Education is the development of your mind. Right? It's the development of your mind. It's a mind that is able to have success. A mind that's not developed can't be successful. It's not possible.
Education, in other words, we can also say like education is the passport of success.
Yeah.
Passport of success.
Yeah, that's right.
So
yeah.
We want to fly over the world. We want to fly over the world. Now we want a passport, right?
Yeah.
So that it is actually. And without education, it is just like a bird with no wings.
Kind of. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. So
So we
education.
have to. The very important points I've got from you are the first number one: make believe in them.
Make your students
Believe
believe in,
themselves, right?
themselves. That's right. Make your students believe in
Themselves, yeah.
themselves. That's right. That's
Yes,
one of the
yeah.
most
And number
important.
two, inspire them to do
Something.
something, right?
Yeah, whatever they
Something.
whatever they
And-
want to do. Yeah.
All right, and ignite the flame of learning.
Yeah.
All right, great,
Yeah,
great.
those are the
And
three.
at the same time, I can add to this one the point you have said just before some time, that live globally.
Yeah.
As well
right.
as living
Yeah.
locally,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Right. Stay connected to your roots, but understand that
Yeah.
there's nothing stopping you. You know why? I'll tell you what, Sheeb, my life changed when I went to Taiwan, because I literally, you have to understand that where I live right now is 12 hours on the other side of the earth from Taiwan.
Yes.
So I went as far away from my home as I possibly could. You can't get any further away than I went. And unless you go to the moon, you know, and so I went as far away as I could, and my world was completely different, and everything was different. The language was different, the culture was different, and I survived, I did it, and once I did that, it changed my view of the world. Now I can go anywhere. I could go to India. I could go to Uzbekistan. I could go anywhere, and I could do it. I feel like a sense of I can. That's an important part of being a teacher, is to give your students a sense of I can, not I can't. There are so many teachers that encourage I
as a
can't.
teacher, as a teacher, one of the best teacher I have ever seen. You are the best, one of the best I have ever seen, actually. So you know why? I've got inspiration from you. Those 3 points you said, you have just called it out. Like, you make me believe in myself that I also can do like you once and inspire others.
Good.
With my words.
Good.
And number 2, you inspired me to do something on this platform fruitfully, productively. And number 3, you ignited me. You just filled the flame and fire. Yeah, I can say fire, actually.
Yeah,
You
right.
filled in me the fire of learning and sharing.
Yeah. You know,
And caring it is.
that's why when we think about passion, we always think about fire, right? Passion is fire, right? And so when you're a teacher, that's all I do. My job is easy in some ways, because all I have to do is show you my passion. That's all I have to do. Once I show you my passion, here's this big flame, and now you can take a little bit of it for yourself and now ignite your own flame. That's how passion works. When you see a great teacher, you see passion. When you see a great performer, you see passion. When you see a great speaker, you see passion. And that's what motivates you. It gives you your own fire. Your own fire. I have my own quote. I'll give you my own quote. My own quote is that I want everybody to find their talents and their passions and do something with it. And what I tell them is that many people don't find their passion because they don't know what they're curious about. Whatever you're curious about in life, chase after that. Keep going. Keep asking questions about that thing. Curiosity is the smoke of passion. So, if you find the curiosity, that's the smoke. Now, follow it and you'll find the fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Curiosity is the smoke.
Of passion.
Right.
Yeah, curiosity is the smoke of passion.
Smoke of.
That's my
You
own.
know,
That's my
I'm
own
noting
quote.
down everything. Actually, I can just go through once we, hang out.
Sure, man. Sure.
That's
yeah.
why, actually.
Yeah.
So
sure.
That's it, learning, right? You
That's
are teaching,
exactly
I'm also
right.
teacher. So
That's right.
At the same time, right now, I am a humble student of you. Right now. So
Every teacher is a student. Every student is a teacher.
till the last breath.
That's exactly right. That is exactly right. Every person knows something that you don't know and they could teach you, and every teacher knows something that the student doesn't know and they can teach them.
All right.
Yeah.
You're great. Anyway, I really laughed.
It was my pleasure, Sheeb. It was my pleasure, really.
I gotta go right now. It's high time I left because I have to go early tomorrow morning to school.
I understand. Yeah.
Too many time actually it'll affect me tomorrow to wake up. So that will affect my students. So we are talking about students and future and igniting students' mind, fire them to move on, right? So I have to go.
Yeah, Sheeb,
Yes,
Sheeb, here's the last thing I'll leave you with is the one thing I love about being a teacher is they say that you never know where a teacher's influence ends. And this is what I mean. This is what I love about what I do, because here I am sitting in Cincinnati, Ohio, and I'm inspiring you in Uzbekistan, and you're from India, and now you're going to take these things that I've given you and give them to other people around the world. And who knows how long that's going to last. That's my legacy. My legacy is something that I hope will last longer than I do, beyond me.
So powerful people come from powerful place. That's one of the dialogues from a movie, Indian movie actually. So
yeah.
You are powerful. You're coming from powerful place.
Thank you, man.
Good job.
Thank you, Sheeba. It's my pleasure to talk with you. It's my pleasure.
And let me ask you finally, actually, could you please give me some comments on my language?
Your English is excellent. Your English is excellent. Yeah, really. I didn't hear any grammar mistakes. Your vocabulary is excellent. Your questions are excellent. Your diction is great. You have a slight Indian accent, but it is not consequential at all. It's not consequential. Don't worry about your accent at all. You should be proud of your accent.
So do I have to change, actually? You have to change and work on my accent?
Not at all. No. As a matter of fact, I don't want you to, because your accent represents your culture. Don't be afraid of that. Don't be embarrassed of that. Be proud of your culture. That's part of your culture. You only have to worry about your accent if it's not clear, right? If there are certain words you say that people can't understand, then that's a problem. But your accent is perfectly clear. If somebody couldn't understand you, I would tell them that the problem is them, not you. Okay.
That was fun, bro.
Yeah.
All right. Actually, when I was studying English years back, I followed Hillary Clinton's speech. You know why? To get the accent of American accent.
Mm-hmm.
To get American accent, because I love American people. The way they speak, the style they speak, better than British people, actually. So,
ooh, be careful. They'll get mad if you say that.
I don't think like that. So it's so very stylish, nice to listen to them, to you people. Great. So that's why I was a big fan of Hillary Clinton, and it's because of the slangs and because of not understanding and difficulty to follow, I just skipped Obama's speech. Obama's.
Yeah, he is an excellent speaker. There's no doubt about it. The problem is his problem was he's too good of a speaker, and his vocabulary is actually a little advanced for some people, and so there were some people who really connected with him because he's intelligent and he advanced the level of language. He advanced the level of communication. He was making it. But then there are other leaders who, for example, George Bush Jr. George Bush Jr. was an okay president, but the reason why he was popular was because he was common. He was simple. He used common language. He seemed like an average guy. He didn't talk like way up here where it's very difficult to understand. And there were some people who, when Obama came, the way he talked was very elevated, and they loved that. But there were some people who felt like, oh, I can't relate to that. It's too elevated for me. It feels disconnected, and that's the
In
nature
a
of
serene way,
politics.
some people talk actually, a very serene way.
Right?
So,
yeah. That's the nature of
so
politics.
for us also, yeah.
Politics
Yeah,
is all.
yes,
It's a
yes.
performance of language. Politics is a performance of language, and when you're a politician, you have to choose the words you want in order to get the audience you need. So. Some people choose more elevated words because they want an elevated audience. Some people choose more mundane, common words because they want a common audience. You know, but truly, you have to
Yeah.
get both. You have to get both. Yeah. So,
Of course,
all right,
of course.
Sheba,
Actually,
I
so you
need to
said,
go, my friend.
I
But
have- Okay, all right. Okay.
That's okay.
Let's keep in touch again, okay?
yeah,
Let's
send
see
me a
again.
message.
See you.
Send me a private message, okay? Send me a private message.
So, yeah, I will. I hope you have followed me. Then I have already followed you.
I
right?
can't follow you from here right now. That's why you have to send me a private message because
So-
I use my computer
Okay,
to do
pri-
my stream. So
Private
just
message,
send me a
of course,
private
okay.
message, then I can
I'll
add
do.
you.
Let's keep in touch.
Okay,
Let's
yeah.
keep in touch. Thank you
Definitely.
very much. Thank you very much, Mark.
You're welcome,
great.
my
Awesome.
friend.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you.
Good night.
Take care, my friend.
Good night from me, actually.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
yeah. All right, take care, my friend. Bye bye. Okay, so guys, I've been here for almost 3 hours again. It goes by too fast, and yeah, my voice needs a rest. I get tired of hearing my own voice. I really do. I'm glad you guys like it, but I get tired of hearing myself blab, blah 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 blah. So. No, we weren't talking about politics, actually. We weren't talking about politics at all. We were talking about the way certain politicians speak and the way that affects people. That's not politics, that's language. That's sociological language. So, okay, take care, Bellin. Okay, guys, listen, I need to go. I've been here too long. Have a good morning, have a good afternoon, have a good evening wherever you live in the world. Thank you for watching. Thank you for following. Thank you for participating. If you want to follow me, please go here. If you want lessons, go there. If you want my Facebook, my YouTube, my podcast, my live stream, go to my link tree and you can follow me. Okay, it's right here. Follow me here, follow me here, follow me there. All right? What happened? What happened? There we go. I'm sorry. I lost you for a second. Okay. So follow me, guys. Thanks again. I will see you guys next time. Take care. I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Okay? Bye-bye.